ya kiufundi waliokuwa wanajumuisha kuthibitisha na kuainisha matokeo yote kutoka maeneo bunge. Lingine alilosema ni kwamba iwapo ama japo yeye kama mwenyekiti wa tume ile ndiye mwenye mamlaka makuu ya kutangaza ushindi ule wa kiti cha urais yeyote atakayokuwa amebuka ushindi, ni lazima wale makamishna wote saba, maana IEBC na makamishna saba, ni lazima wote wawe na sauti moja, wawe kwamba wameangalia, wamethibitisha, wamekubaliana na kumpatia ile go ahead ule mwenyekiti, kumwambia nenda ukaweze kwenda kutangaza, japo kulingana na wanasheria wanasema kwamba tume ya IEBC wapo itakuwa tuna makamishna watatu, basi yule mwenyekiti anaweza kwenda mbele na kwenda kutangaza ile matokeo yao, lakini mazoezi yanasema kwamba lazima makamishna wote saba waweze kukubaliana kwa maana ya matokeo hayo kabla ya mwenyekiti kwenda kutangaza. Hakujulikani katika kutangaza ile matokeo ni wangapi, ni kura ngapi zilizoainishwa ama zimethibitishwa ama zilizojuzu, tunasema valid votes, na ni ngapi ambazo zilizokataliwa, ambao wanasema ni kiungo muhimu katika kutoa matangazo ya urais, kwamba ingebainishwa ni hao ndio walijitokeza, ni hizi zilizojuzu na ni hizi zilizokataliwa. Lakini kijao wanasema kwamba hiyo haikuwepo, wakieleza kwamba pia kuna maeneo bunge ambayo yalikuwa hayajawasilisha hesabu yao ya wameipata ya kiti kile cha urais katika maeneo bunge tofauti, wakisema ni takriban ama ni kati maeneo bunge 20 na 30. Kwa hivyo hilo pia ni jambo ambalo liliwatoa katika hesabu hiyo. Mengi zaidi, mtazamaji, bila shaka na imani kwamba umeyasikia kutokana na semi hizo za moja kwa moja za makamishna hao wanne, ambao hadi wa leo wanashikilia kwamba matangazo yaliyofanywa na Chebukati hapo jana kuhusiana na ushindi wa kiti cha urais basi hawakubaliani nao. Dan Migosi, tupo nawe hapa studioni. Tumesikiza
members of the Fourth Estate, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. We have a statement that we want to issue today following the general elections that were held in our country on the 9th of this month. Today, I want to address my fellow Kenyans and the international community about the 2022 Kenyan elections and the role of the Independent Election and Boundaries Commission, the IEBC, the body mandated by the Constitution and the law to conduct and manage elections. On August 9th, 2022, millions of Kenyans turned out in large numbers in an attempt to choose their leaders at the national, county, and local levels after long and generally peaceful campaigns. But yesterday, August 15th, our budding democracy suffered a major setback. As a result, Kenya faces a grave legal and political crisis as a result of the actions of Mr. Wafula Chebukati, the chairperson of the IEBC. The Constitution and our laws are clear about how the IEBC should conduct its business. There's no more important role for the IEBC than the conduct, transmission, and tallying of the presidential election. We are painfully aware of the past political biases by the IEBC that plunged this country into its darkest chapter. The terrible memories of the aftermath of the 2007 elections are still fresh in our minds. In 2017, the Supreme Court of Kenya nullified the presidential election again because of the misconduct of the IEBC. What we saw yesterday was a travesty and a blatant disregard of the Constitution and the laws of Kenya by Mr. Chebukati and a minority of IEBC commissioners. The law is clear on the role of the chairperson of the IEBC. The law does not vest in the chairperson the powers of a dictator to rule the IEBC unilaterally. The IEBC is structured as a democratic institution in which decisions must be taken either by consensus or by a vote of the majority. The chairperson and a tiny minority of commissioners have no legal authority to take weighty decisions and proclaim them as the rulings of the IEBC. The law on the IEBC provides that unless a unanimous decision is reached, a decision on any matter before the Commission shall be by a majority of the members present and voting. I want to repeat. Unless a unanimous decision is reached, a decision on any matter before the Commission shall be by a majority of the members present and voting. In addition, the Court of Appeal in the Maina Kiai case ruled, and I quote again, reiterate, as we conclude, that there is no doubt from the architecture of the laws we have considered that the people of Kenya did not intend to vest or concentrate such sweeping and boundless powers in one individual, that is the chairperson of the appellant. That is why I and Azimio La Umoja One Kenya and the nation at large were shocked yesterday to learn that Mr. Chebukati alone decided to pronounce himself on the supposed winner of the 2022 presidential elections. We understand that only Mr. Chebukati alone had access to the tally of the presidential vote. He denied all the commissioners access to that information until he suddenly appeared before the commissioners in the late afternoon to present them with a fait accompli. Barely 2 hours before his announcement, Mr. Chebukati called a meeting of the IEBC and revealed to them the different results he was going to announce. 4 of the 7 protested Mr. Chebukati's actions. But Mr. Chebukati, whose mind appeared made up, did not entertain any discussion of the results, precipitating a walkout by a majority of the commissioners who promptly denounced the results at a press conference. We know what happened next. A majority of the commissioners walked out and held a press conference where they denounced the results. Our view in Azimio is clear. The figures announced by Mr. Chebukati are null and void. I repeat, the figures announced by Mr. Chebukati are null and void and must be quashed by a court of law. In our view, there is neither a legally and validly declared winner nor a president-elect. Mr. Chebukati's announcement purporting to announce a winner is a nullity. He acted with gross impunity and in total disregard of the Constitution and our laws. He could have plunged our country into chaos had our supporters not exercised great restraint. Such blatant acts of impunity can be a threat to the security of our country. It is not up to us to decide whether Mr. Chebukati has committed an offense. We leave that determination to the appropriate authorities. But for avoidance of doubt, I want to repeat that we totally and without reservations reject the presidential results announced yesterday by Mr. Chebukati. I want to commend our supporters for remaining calm and keeping the peace, and I urge them to continue to do so. Let no one take the law into their own hands. We are pursuing constitutional and lawful channels and processes to invalidate Mr. Chebukati's illegal and unconstitutional pronouncement. We are certain that justice will prevail. I want to further commend the heroism of the 4 commissioners, the majority of the IEBC, who stood up to the bullying and the illegal conduct of Mr. Chebukati. We are proud of them and ask them not to fear anything. Kenyans are with them. Today, I do not want to fully address our strategies going forward, but suffice it to note that we will be pursuing all constitutional and legal options available to us. We will do so because we regard the many flaws in the elections and the wrongs committed by the IEBC as fatal to the process and the outcome announced by Mr. Chebukati. We urge Kenyans and the friends and partners of Kenya abroad to stand tall and be counted as we seek to advance the ideals of democracy and an open society that we have always stood for. We will pursue justice for our supporters and for all Kenyans so that their choices are respected and honored. May God bless you and may God bless Kenya. Nataka kuchukua tena fursa hii kutoa shukrani kwa Kenya wenzangu ambayo wameshiriki katika uchaguzi ambayo imepita. Wameonyesha ujasiri, wameonyesha uzalendo na upendo kwa nchi yao. Wakenya kila mahali walijitokeza wakapiga kura kwa njia ya amani. Na sasa yale ambayo yalibaki ni tume ya uchaguzi kuhakikisha kwamba ile ndoto ya Wanakenya imeheshimiwa. Tumegundua hitilafu ambayo imefanyika katika IEBC ambayo imejaribu kutaka kukiuka yale ambayo Wakenya wenyewe walikuwa wamefanya. Tumeona yale ambayo imefanywa na yule mwenyekiti wa tume ya uchaguzi Bwana Wafula Chebukati kwa kujaribu kupindua ili uamuzi wa Wakenya. Anafanya hivyo bila kushauriana na wale wenzake ambaye wako pale pamoja naye katika tume ya uchaguzi. Sisi wana Kenya na wana Azimio tunapenda amani. Tunapenda umoja wa Kenya. Tunataka kuona kama Wakenya wameungana kama kitu kimoja. Ndio tunaongea juu ya Azimio la umoja. Tuko na nia ya kuona kwamba Kenya imetoka katika janga la ufukara, janga ya kutokuwa na amani, na janga ya ubaguzi ya kikabila, ili Wakenya waungane kama watu moja, waweze kutekeleza wajibu yao kulingana na ndoto ya uanzilishi wa taifa letu. Hatutakubali, nataka kurudia hai, hatutakubali mtu mmoja ajaribu kuleta vurugu katika taifa letu, kujaribu vile vile kubadilisha yale ambayo Wakenya wameamua kama watu moja. Wakenya hawatakubali, hatutakubali. tutazidi kutetea nchi yetu na katiba letu kama Wakenya ili Kenya iweze kuendelea mbele. Asanteni sana. Mungu ibariki Kenya, nchi yetu.
Niombe sote tusalie tumeketi tunapomruhusu Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Ondinga, mgombea mwenza. I am ably guided by Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka to announce that all elected members in the National Assembly, in the Senate, governors, kindly, you have a meeting here at 11 a.m. tomorrow promptly. Thank you. With the security officers here. Thank you, members of the Fourth Estate. I now humbly request that we give space to His Excellency to take leave. Kindly, security and protocol officers, guide appropriately.
Which cast doubt on the accuracy of the source of the figures tallied, and when we demanded that we verify our record, the chairman declined, overruled us, and insisted on declaring and announcing the said results. That, number two, contrary to the Constitution and legislation, the results declared and announced did not indicate the total number of registered voters, the total number of votes cast, or the number of rejected votes, if any. In this regard, the results announced by Mr. Chebukati lacked a critical ingredient, namely the total number of valid votes cast to support the percentages scored by the four candidates. Unless demonstrated otherwise, we all know that the percentage is essentially a fraction of a whole number. Hence, if, for example, the 7.17 million valid votes cast in favor of the winning candidate, as declared and announced by Mr. Chebukati, translates to 50.49%, then it was 50.49 of what? Further, take notice that Mr. Chebukati claimed that Raila Ondinga attained 25% of votes in 34 counties, while William Ruto attained 25% in 39 counties. The question is, which figures in the 34 and 39 counties, respectively, constituted the independent variable to warrant the conclusion of 25% in 34 counties and 25% in the 39 counties for Raila and Ruto, respectively? In the absence of a credible and verifiable explanation, we concluded that the process that went into generation of Form 34C, which he used to declare results of the presidential election, was opaque and incapable of earning our ownership and confidence. Number three, guided by the authority of my Kicc case, petition number 106 of 2016, as upheld by the Court of Appeal in Civil Appeal number 105 of 2017 and affirmed by the Supreme Court of Kenya, we state categorically that the results of the presidential election held in August 9, 2022, declared and announced by Mr. Wafula Chebukati on August 15, 2022, belonged to himself and do not represent the declaration and announcement by Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. The Commission has to process the results before they are declared and announced by the chairperson. For the avoidance of doubt, let me quote the Maina Kiai case. It says, "We reiterate as we conclude that there is no doubt from the architect of the law, we have considered that the people of Kenya did not intend to vest or concentrate such sweeping and boundless powers in one individual, the chairperson of the appellant. The emphasis is that the Commission's chairperson has conducted the election as though he is the National Returning Officer, a non-existent role, and his role in declaring results that were not approved by plenary by all 7 commissioners renders the results unconstitutional to the extent that this is his own results as opposed to those of IEBC. In keeping to Article 138(2) of the Constitution, there is no national presidential election in Kenya, but rather the presidential election is held in each constituency. Point number 4, that in contrary to the Constitution and legislation, by the time the chairman declared and announced the final results, results from certain constituencies had not been announced. This is our statement. We promised you a comprehensive statement, so here we are, and we are going to give it out to the media. Thank you.
At what point did you realize that there was a fake? And do you have the figures that are contrary to the ones that were issued by the chairman?
Also, why did you raise it?
Can we take one by one so that
So can we deal with just 2 questions for the moment, please?
Let me answer at what point did we realize the opportuneness? As I said yesterday, we have conducted the election and we did it to the best. We have improved in the processes as IEBC. We have upped the bar. We have considered all the stages and processes that are supposed to be taken care of. But come to the last phase, the tallying phase. As I said yesterday, that at the end, that there was opaqueness. Things were not being shown to the public. You've been there, even at Bomas. And the screens are supposed to show cumulative numbers of the presidential candidates' votes as they garnered as we continued to read the results, isn't it? The same was not displayed to the public, and the same was not given to the commissioners. Just like the public was not aware, the same, the commissioners were not aware of the cumulative results as the day goes by. So 2 days to the end, it was not given out. So you could not clearly say that we have tallied 10 million, and this 10 million, this is how it is distributed. We have tallied 15, we have tallied 12 million. How is it distributed? The public needed to know. Progressively, the same, the commissioners didn't know.
Yes, what was your question?
My question was, do you have figures that are different from the ones that were declared by the chairman yesterday?
Do you have figures?
How many constituencies did you have plenary? And then why didn't you flag this issue earlier?
si watu wote waliopiga kura, ni ile sehemu IBC officials wala walitoa msimamo wao wakasema hawakujua hesabu ilikuwa ni ngapi, na hapo kuna tozari.
Wamejitatiza wenyewe, maanake wameulizwa pale kwamba kisha wameulizwa na wanahabari, kulingana na nyinyi basi pia pengine matokeo yenu yalikuwa yanafaa yawe vipi?
Hawakuwa na chochote cha kuweza kutoa. Iwapo watazidi kusema pale, iwapo hilo jambo litapelekwa vizuri, naona itaweza kuumiza wengine mioyo. Ni kweli ya kwamba kama mtu
and he did not give us an opportunity to discuss the results. He just said, these are the results of each particular candidate. They have scored this and they have met the constitutional threshold, and therefore he is going to read the results. And he did not allow us to discuss to see whether there were any disparities. So as a commissioners, we did not have other results. Those are the results that we were supposed to have discussed before they are declared in accordance with the legal requirement. So we don't have, and we didn't have, because we were not doing any other results. It is those ones that he was doing. That is simple.
So you believe that there would have been a difference from the forms 34B that had been uploaded and ones that Kenyans had already tabulated through the processing and the final results?
We have given you the statement, and the statement has indicated 100.1%. The rest is for you to decide. We will give you the statement to go and look at it. Yeah? We do not know the actual numbers, but even if you look at the screen, before the results were announced by Mr. Chebukati, there was they were required to announce constituencies that have not been announced. There were about 20 or slightly 20, between 20 and 30. We know that because Professor Ngurie was carrying the files to and announce those results before Mr. Chebukati announces the presidential result.
Oh, okay, so sorry, can we hear your question?
Just one question.
No. We have given her.
We have told you that thing. Let me tell you.
We are going to take question.
Let me answer. We have said very, very clearly, and I want you to listen, that the final tallying of the results was not brought to the attention of the commission, so I will not be able to answer that question. It's only Mr. Chebukati who can answer that question for you.
Okay. Another question.
Anaashiria kwamba hakubaliani na matokeo yaliyotangazwa hiyo jana, akisema kwamba IEBC haikuweza kutekeleza wajibu wake wa kisheria kama inavyopaswa. Anasema kwamba matokeo yaliyotangazwa na Wafula Chebukati hiyo jana, hayo yalikuwa ni matokeo yake mwenyewe na uamuzi wake kama mtu binafsi, na yeye kama kiongozi wa Azimio la Umoja One Kenya hatambui ama muungano huo hautambui matokeo hayo kuwa sura kamili ya kura ambazo zilipigwa hapa nchini ama msimamo wa Wakenya kwa jumla. Hivyo basi amesema kwamba ataelekea mahakamani na kuweza kuangazia njia zozote zile za kisheria ambazo zinaweza kumsaidia kuweza ama matakwa yake kuweza kusikilizwa kulingana pale kotini. Kando na hayo, mtazamaji, kiongozi huyu wa muungano wa One Kenya amesema kwamba matokeo hayo IEBC haijaweza kufanya wajibu wake kisheria, huku akisema ama akiweza kutaja kwamba makamishna wanne tayari wa tume hiyo wamejiondoa kwenye msimamo uliofanywa hapo jana na Wafula Chebukati, huku wakisema kwamba hawakubaliani na matokeo ambayo yalitangazwa hiyo jana. Hivyo basi muungano huu unasema kwamba matokeo hayo hawatakubaliana nayo, na wanasema kwamba sio matokeo ya kweli. Hivyo basi muungano wa One Kenya, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya, kulingana na kiongozi huyu ni kwamba wataelekea mahakamani ili kuweza kutoa malalamishi yao pale, kufuatia mchakato mzima wa uchaguzi haukuweza kufuatwa kama jinsi sheria inavyosema. Hivyo basi ameweza pia kuwashukuru wa Kenya na wafuasi wa muungano wa One Kenya, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya, akiweza kusema kwamba anawashukuru kwa kuweza kuwa na subira na